I have my glasses on.
And they're real beer. They're real beer. I'm so proud.
Well,
Well, if Jackson's going to go live, I'll start live now, too.
Well, you said we should.
Oh my God, you got an Inger in here.
I do have an Inger in there.
Wow. I did not know that.
It's been in there for a while.
Oh, I did not know.
It used to be in the big fridge for a while. Big fridge. The other fridge for a while. And then I swapped out all those kegs. Because they kept going dry on me. I think there's a leak.
I love these glasses. They're great glasses.
You want some?
I think
You have more?
Yeah.
They're Belgian style, man. Of course.
want
I'd take like 2 more.
Take 2 more.
Uh-huh.
I have
Where
like 9.
are they upstairs?
Take them out of the freezer for now. Or there's one behind
one
the
back
back of the bar and take one out of the freezer.
every time it gets me. It's on the bottom.
It's on the bottom of your...
Yeah, you know.
There's also one stuck to the side of the fridge. The left side of the fridge,
Hey.
too.
Every time the bottom.
Dude.
I was trying to figure out how to wear this tonight.
What are you laughing at?
You like the whole
Look,
get together?
It's the get together.
The hat.
Look, and the jorts and the unbuttoned.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was trying to figure out how to wear it, and I'm like, I might as well go full on like
Yeah.
American.
it's-
Yeah.
And with the
Isn't that
stash.
awesome? Yeah.
You look at the
It's
stash.
very
You look like you're ready to crawl into the car and get my carburetor.
Right?
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only way I can figure out how to wear it because this is long on me. It like goes down to like mid thigh.
Do you need a smaller one?
Part of me see, because it fits my arms perfectly. You
think they're
just have to
supposed to
dry
run
it.
long.
They are long because that prevents. That's where so they don't get butt crack.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's for tucking in
plumber's
purposes.
crack.
Yeah.
We're talking about our dickies here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not our little diggies.
There's extra long
Not our
dickies.
appendage. We're talking about our
Yeah.
outerwear.
Yeah.
Man. I had to change after work today because, like occupational hazards.
Old people squirting shit on you or something?
No, just like sometimes things are stinky.
Ugh. Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Did you get smag on you or something like that?
A little schmag.
What do you think? Where do you think he works?
Yeah.
Massage parlor.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks,
Asian-
God,
Asian
Sam.
massage.
My shoulder feels so much better. How about a happy ending?
Oh God, no.
Really? You can't divulge because we're
No, I don't. I mean, it's more of just I'm gonna spare you guys the graphic
Icky.
smells.
Well, Jackson probably gets some of those.
Yeah, poop's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. I
You
get
know-
poops and peas.
Yeah.
Not yeast.
Oh,
Wait, what?
That's you're getting into it. Yeah.
It's fab.
Yeah.
Foot, ass, and balls.
Oh,
That's what they call it in the ER. My wife says, "Oh man, it was like fab was all over the place."
when we were fab.
Oh
That
God.
smell.
Oh, I
need
like
a different
that.
pen.
You need another pen?
It doesn't work. See?
What's fab?
Oh, good. Ooh,
Foot, ass, and
this one
balls.
has multiple
Didn't you ever do your
colors.
stint
Careful
in,
with those.
in the
I
ER?
hold those in
Don't you-
high value.
Yeah, you came across
My
some fab
multicolored
there.
pens.
Everything
Did you
smells like
notice
foot,
that
ass,
these
and
shirts
balls. Yeah,
also
foot, ass,
have
and
a little
balls
pen
smell.
slot?
You know,
They
it
do.
just stinks.
Nice.
You know what? I
Oh, yes.
probably didn't need to go all out and get the Dickie shirt, but
What?
Why not?
Are we not worth it?
well, this is true.
It is
You're
true
like,
that we're not
well,
worth
some
it.
of you are.
No, I didn't mean that.
all right.
I didn't mean that. I'm getting nasally again. Maybe it's down here. Maybe I have massive mold in the walls.
Maybe that your air conditioner's
That's
blowing.
it. Yeah, just suck it in.
It is.
You have a filter there? On
In
that
this
thing?
one?
In that thing?
Yeah, from 1987.
Yeah.
They don't make them like they used
You
to.
kidding me? I don't think that thing's from 97. I think that thing's from 87 or 77.
That's an original air conditioner
Yeah.
for sure. Do you think you could take that out of that window?
I put it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think you could take it out?
Yeah.
Well, first off, like
Wait.
With your shoulders.
Oh yeah, can you even get your shoulders up anymore?
Yeah.
oh yeah, that
My
doesn't
little
help.
pepperonis. Yeah, we're going to talk about those
My
today.
little pepperonis.
Yeah. It's 6:05. We've been live for a while. Step out of the green room into the studio.
Oh, and it has some of those little tips on it.
It does.
Stylus.
Just
the tip.
Just the tip.
All right, here we go. Time to play bikes. 5 stages in, and he's in yellow already. Meanwhile, in Italy, I'm rooting for Borghini.
That last rhyme sucked. I know it to be true. Hey, you try and do what I do. Welcome to episode 486. It might be 87. I'll have to check. I'll edit this out. Of the longest standing podcast in the sport of cycling, one and only Packfiller Cycling Podcast. Think of us as a post-ride beer with several friends and one asshole. I'm potentially that asshole. My name's Pat Bulger. Tour is underway, as is the women's Giro. EPO is this weekend. Well, technically it's every weekend, if you got the right pharmacist. And the world is preparing for a Waples-induced international incident. Welcome again to the show. We are live on our YouTube channel, and if you're ever interested in the Green Room Chatter, be sure and subscribe and check out our Patreon. Tonight's Scratch Prologue, gentlemen, sponsored by Scratch Labs Fuel and Hydration, is as follows. What is a memorable hold my beer moment in your life that you tried to show off in front of others and it did not work well? A moment that you went, hey, watch this, and it did not go well. Okay? We good?
Yeah.
First and foremost, he's always got a full year to get ready, Mr. Palmain. How are you, man?
Good. I can't wait for next year.
When you told me that on the ride on Friday, I was just like going, God, good for you. Good on you to just keep going.
Yeah.
Just keep it up.
What else I have? That's all I know.
It's all I got. I got no place else to go. Officer and gentleman, quote that nobody in this room mayonnaise
request.
Yeah,
and that's a although there's no airplanes, you probably wouldn't like that.
Good military movie. Yeah. Young Richard Gere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good film. Paul, how are you? And what is a hold my beer moment that you recall from your life?
This is embarrassing, and it really was hold my beer. I was at a party out in Davenport, Washington, and I had this rotary engine car that was like a freaking rocket.
Mazda?
Yeah, Mazda RX-2.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
1972. Yeah.
They started with one.
It was a 100. The first one was R100. The RX-2 and 3 came out. I had an RX-2.
Okay.
And it was a rocket. And there's this place, as you're heading to Kettle Falls, this road, and it's called Tickle Hills because you catch air. And I said, hey, I'm going to go catch some air. And this is why you don't drink and drive.
Oh, God.
Because I just roasted the tires and right into a fence post and messed up my car. I got maybe 10 feet.
So you didn't even get to the Tickle Hills.
I was so pissed.
Because you took
I
off
probably
too
would have
quick?
been dead. I wouldn't be sitting here had I. Yeah.
Wait, so you like gassed it and like went off the road?
Yeah, I was doing, purposely trying to fishtail and do donuts and then take off. Found a fence post.
This checks
Wow.
out, man.
That's a good
That's
one.
a hold your beer. Do not drink and drive.
There we
100%.
go. Next off, he's always got to go a size down in clothing orders, Mr. Sam Waples. You always do that. You're just like,
It's confusing.
You're
and then when I go down a size, I'm like,
that's too small.
it's too small.
Is the Dickie too small?
No, that's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I need the smaller size.
Yeah.
Dickie.
You always do that. You
Yeah.
did do that.
Yeah, I did do
Okay.
that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But every time you're like going, I think I'm going to get a medium jersey. I'm like, dude, you're going to look like
Packed
fat guy in a
sausage.
little coat. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. It does feel that way. It's like a skin
what's
suit.
happening?
Yeah.
What'd you do?
Yeah. Sam, what is the time that you did a hold my beer moment? That's great
man,
audio.
There's so
Thank you.
many. I think that the number one that would come to my head was like when I was in college, I would love to like jump off of things into the water, right?
Okay.
And so trying to show off for my girlfriend at the time, wife now. Worked out.
Did. So it paid off.
Yeah, she's like, that guy's an idiot, and if I don't intervene, he'll die. But I climbed up to one of those tall, like, pillars, like that just holds a dock in place.
Okay.
Like those wood
Yeah,
pillars.
yeah.
Climbed up to the top of that. This thing is wobbling all over the place. And I mean, I'm like, so this is how I die. But now I'm up here. So obviously,
Everybody's
I have to do
looking.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now I have to do something cool. And so thinking I'll do a McTwist, which is a backflip and 360.
I thought it was a cinnamon treat from McDonald's.
No.
Okay.
No.
There's no way you could do that.
Well, in my head, I did.
He saw it. He
You
visualized.
can't even do the 360, let alone the flip.
I could
part.
do the flip. Back then, I was pro at jumping off of things and doing backflips, but I was not pro at adding in a 360. Exactly. And I got lost up in where space was, and I came down so hard on my stomach from probably a good 20 feet up, and I was just laying in the water, like wind knocked out. Like, and everyone's like, "You okay?" And I'm like, "I nailed it. Yeah, I'm good."
Oh my God.
And I never did one of those again, but that was my moment.
That's a good one.
Nailed it.
Next off, he's always got the best roadside manner. I know that personally, Mr. David Waples.
Oh.
How are you, man?
Yeah, thank you.
We will get into that here shortly, but you were
It's a new stamp of approval. I've got.
you were running a very good
Roadside
procedure.
clinic?
Yeah, roadside
Yeah.
clinic. Yeah, assessing damage. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the time you hold my beard?
Hold my beard. When I first started doing mountain bike racing, you don't know where this is going. You're thinking of something else because there's another one. I did the first enduro I did was at Beacon. I pre-rode everything. I was like ready to do all the lines. I pre-rode this one particular spot on Pop Rocks. If anybody knows that trail, you go down this rolling rock face, and then there's a small gap where you like launch off of a rock. You go maybe, it's maybe like the gap's only maybe like 6 feet, but you catch some air, you go a little bit further and you land on a flat, keep going. So I practiced that in particular a lot because back then jumping was new to me, and I would roll up to it. I would stop at the top, and I got it down where I was like, okay, you stop at the top. You just no brakes, hit it. That's the perfect amount of speed. So I was pretty excited to do that part of the race. So when my mom wanted to come out and watch, I was like, Mom, go to this spot.
No.
Go watch me hit this jump. I'm going to get some air. It's going to be so sick.
Oh,
I got
no.
my new bike. This is my third ride. I'm so excited. And I'm at the top. I'm like so jazzed. I'm flying down this course. Didn't think about how I practiced the whole thing starting from a stop. And so I come over the top of the rock face. I'm like, okay, no brakes, no brakes, no brakes. Flying down this rock face. And I hit at the bottom of it, it's kind of a whoop-de, like it goes down and up really quickly and into that little jump.
See my house from here.
I hit the bottom so hard. As I'm going off of the jump, I'm already starting to ass over tea kettle.
We shouldn't be laughing, but this is good.
My mom's watching the whole thing.
My baby.
And I, at some point, I just smashed the rear wheel. I don't even know what happened. I Superman through the air, completely tacoed the rear wheel on this brand new bike right in front of my mom, knocked the wind out of myself, and it was horrible.
Mama Waples is like,
she
my boy.
Yeah, she was not handling it well. So.
No.
Oh my God. And you made her go there.
I was like, watch me hit this jump, Ma.
Watch me, Mom.
Hold that
my
beer.
God.
Hold my beer, Ma.
Next, he's always got a handle on the newest things like overlanding. Do you guys know what overlanding is?
For sure.
Do you really?
Yes.
David's got the rig that could do it.
Yeah, It's
I had
you
never
take
heard of overlanding.
Your cool off-roading vehicle, and you make it all camp ready, and you go to cool places and like sort of off-griddy and not fully off.
Wow.
Yeah. See?
You
I'm
need
not
more
alone.
tats. You need more tats.
I've got two.
Okay.
I
forgot you had two.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Mr. Jackson Bulger, how are you, man?
Good, thanks.
What is a hold my beer moment?
So I'm gonna be honest. I'm pretty careful. I'm like so careful to a point where I know
You
where
need
I've
to
thought
drink more.
about
That's all.
between X and Z, like before I even get to K.
Really?
So I don't do a lot of hold my beer moments, but I will tell a story of this last weekend. So my brother and sister-in-law, they held our 4th of July party, and we did a slip and slide. They had a slip and slide. So tarp.
Those
and
never end well.
Well, yeah.
Especially with adults.
Yeah, this wasn't like it actually ended really well. This one did, but so it was wet and they put like dish soap on it and everything, and people were flying through it, and they had these floaties, and I had watched all my brother-in-laws do it before, and they had these floaties that they weren't really using, and they somebody handed it to me, and so I was like, oh, I'll try it, and so I'm running up, I jump on it, and I, honest to God, thought I broke my ribs. I smacked on that thing so hard, and I was like, now I know why they aren't using these stupid floaties, because it just knocked the wind out of me so bad. I woke up the next morning with like a bunch of if I laughed, it would hurt or anything.
Really?
If I flexed my abs, it would like hurt the side of my wrist. Yeah.
Oh my God.
But we're good now. But
I can't believe that in your this many years of life, you've had one hold my beer moment.
that wasn't even really a hold my beer moment.
I
That was
know.
just like I want to participate.
Like you said, he needs to drink more.
Yeah.
You need to be dumber.
Yeah. I've always been super careful about that stuff.
You notice the theme for the introductions was always got, and me, I've always got a sore shoulder, and I think I'm just destined for the rest of my life. I am Pat Bulger, and I vividly remember 2 hold my beer moments, just kind of simple ones, and I was thinking of cycling ones. One was I was trying to show off in front of a bunch of juniors how I could wheelie in a parking lot, and I did not wheelie, and I went back onto my ass, and I full road rash my backside. That doesn't count. But the best one was when I was living at the Olympic Training Center. I don't know, back in the day, I think it was Eddie Borshevit's book that had a picture of Bernard Hinault showing off his bike handling skills, and he was like crouched down so low that the top tube, he was off to the side of his bike, and his top tube was basically kind of about mid-chest. I mean, he was that low on the bike, and I could do that, and I thought it was really cool. And we were riding down to the cafeteria, as we would obviously every night for dinner. And I was showing off that I could ride this position and, do it really well. And I came around a corner in the position, basically so far off to the side of the bike that I just greased out in front of the cafeteria. And like majorly greased out, just like... And I was like, okay, only the guys I'm coming in with saw it and everything like that. I walked into the cafeteria at the Olympic Training Center, and I got a standing ovation.
Love
like,
that.
Way to go, numbnuts. It's just like that. And it was just one of those ones I was just like, oh, I'm a fucking idiot. I am a fucking idiot. And it was, so it was bad.
You made somebody's day.
I did. Some Olympic gold medalist is going to say, God, I have so many memories, but the best one was this dumb shit junior, his tail coming out of his head or something like that. I probably had that. I don't know. It was the 80s. So, before we get into the rock incident that I do want to talk to you guys about, let's check with everybody's cycling lives. First of all, how's it going? Second of all, is anybody training for anything?
France.
Crickets. You guys are riding in France? What are you riding? What are you doing?
Well, we're doing Alpe d'Huez and then Mont Ventoux.
Oh, damn.
And then we'll do several other big rides there. But those
And
are like
riding
the 2
every
big,
single day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But those are the 2 like big iconic climbs.
That's something to train for.
Yeah.
I do want to say that somebody immediately sent me a high turnover pattern of a pair of Speedo style swim trunks that you could have your face imprinted upon. And they're like, Pat.
Did you order them?
No, I didn't order them. I
The
ordered Dickies.
deal was we find it or a fan. And
You didn't find it.
or a fan, and then you order it. Somebody else found it.
That's a fair deal.
Yeah. Clearly, you don't want your face
I don't
on my
think-
crotch on the camera.
I don't think the people on the camera would understand whose face is on the crotch.
It doesn't matter.
But
Doesn't
we
matter,
do.
but we do.
Yeah.
We do?
Yeah.
Oh, it's an inside joke? Okay, I'll look into it. Is the motivation starting to wane at this point in the season for anybody? Paul's like, no, never.
This is next year.
Yeah, I would say yes and no. Like, it was very fun having the weekly races because it's like, a time to go out and test the legs. But, I'm now like just looking at kind of more of the pickup stuff, and that's races. Like, Tuesday mornings there's a really fun group ride that is very fast, and going out and ripping that. Thursday nights is fast and fun. So there's just other rides that are, it's not a race. And so, yeah, I'm saying it is going down a bit, but I'm still motivated.
Mm-hmm.
Paul, I asked you this beforehand. You had mentioned that your readiness and status for EPO has changed.
Not so good.
Not so good.
No.
Not going to go.
No, unfortunately. Just haven't, For all the rides that I've been on, just when I'm pushing it, it's just like I can't. I have nothing.
Long way to go to get
Yep.
punched in a few laps.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Yeah, it's just not coming around. It's not coming around.
Shit, fuck. David,
Yeah.
anything? You're doing the tour too. You're
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
tour. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying the fitness right now.
Yeah.
I'm not riding as much as I'd like, but when I go out, it's fun.
Yeah.
So everything feels good, and that's fun.
Jackson, you're into overlanding mode.
Not quite. I'm into all that stuff, but at the same time, I want to keep riding hard when I can. And then I really do want to like actually commit to doing weight training now. I always say that I'm going to do it, and then I like wean off when spring hits. But this time I actually like want to really commit to it, and I'm going to hold myself to it. And I have like a 30-day plan now. So
okay.
I want to combine the two. So I guess I still am motivated.
I've got 5 weeks until Breck Epic, so I can't take my foot off the gas. Even though, everybody else around me is. No, I'm kidding. Excuse me.
Still drop you.
Yeah, well, I'm well aware of that, and I'm hoping for more of that. I do want to say before I get too far into it that Ryan over in Everett at the Everett Performance Omnium, which we speak of as EPO, is really, really hurting for some volunteers. I think he's needing some people to come and help him with the races this weekend. If you have any plans of heading to the race, grab a friend, grab an enemy or a family member, and they get some swag out of the deal and stuff like that. And races don't happen without volunteers. So
And you get to watch some really cool fast bike
cool
racing.
races. Yeah, exactly. So all hands on deck with EPO. I keep saying that, and people are thinking I probably don't know what I'm talking about, but all hands on deck with the Everett Performance Omnium. Big luck to them. The website is
up.
It is.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I just don't know remember what it is.
I think it is Everett Performance.
Yeah.
Google that sucker, and you can get to it, and you can get some information on what to do and stuff like that, and where they are sitting. I do want to recount. I don't want to make it all about me, but I do want to recount the rock incident from this weekend. We went out on July 4th for a really interesting group ride. First of all, Sam said he was going to be there. Then he didn't show.
Last minute.
Yeah, which is really, really classy. Considering your brother showed up and went, "Where's Sam?" And we went, "He didn't. He said he wasn't coming." And you went, David, you went, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
I invited other people because Sam said he was coming.
Yeah.
So we did have some other people outside of our little social circle come, which was kind of nice. The cast of characters was
Steve and Clint.
and
Bill Knudsen.
Bill.
Yeah, and it was good to kind of ride with those guys. David had some sort of I don't know. You were going fast.
I'm telling you guys, it's just fun right now. It feels good. The legs just feel good.
Bill at one point in time just yelled. He went, "David, I'm doing 450 watts and I can't do this for much longer. Stop it." Which that was pretty funny. I was just hanging out in the group ride and we still got a top 10 on a Strava section.
Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah.
Yeah, you and I were ripping at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good pace. And then we got to a certain point where we always take a left, but somebody decided to go right. You ever seen the movie The Butterfly Effect? It's a fucked up movie. Very fucked up movie. But this put in a chain of events
Altered the ride.
that altered the ride and altered the future of certain participants. If you may.
All participants.
Yeah.
Yeah. We made a right turn. And how far did we get? 50
Maybe half a block.
No, probably about
100 feet?
200 meters or so.
Yeah.
300 meters maybe at the most.
Paul, you were at the front of the group at the time.
Talking to Clint.
Yeah, and there was a particular object in the room.
Oh, yes. In fact, I brought it here. I
Save it in your pocket.
for this very moment.
Oh my God, you brought it. Look at how round
What
that
camera's on,
sucker is.
Jackson?
Wait,
Yours
you
now.
actually
Yours?
brought the rock?
Paul brought
Yep, that's
the rock.
Did you go back out there and get it, or
No, it was the only rock within miles, and it was
Yeah.
half on the white line. I was talking to Clint
Yeah.
because I was in front with Clint, and I looked over and I'm like, "Jeez!" I didn't even see it to the last minute. I pointed. Bill was behind me, and he didn't have time to even point. He moved out
And
of the
I
way,
was behind Bill.
and boom, and then I hear broken carbon.
Did you guys hear me at all?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you were screaming.
What did I say?
mommy.
I was wondering if I said something because
It was really just like,
that was after the crash.
yeah, that's all you said.
Okay, when the crash happened, all I remember is that my front wheel hit that fucker, and I had no time to react. I was flying to my left.
Right about there?
Yeah, I was flying to my left, and I wasn't going to stay upright. There was no way I was going to stay upright. And the first thing I ran into was Steve. And by the way, I want to formally apologize to Steve from that rock. But I hit him, and the both of us he didn't have a chance in hell, and I was already, at least a 45-degree angle. And the next thing I know, I landed. He, I think, ejected from his bike because I didn't land on him.
Mm-mm. You did not.
But I landed on his bike. And
what does
New bike
190
day.
pounds do to a S-Works 19? No, it was a 2016 S-Works. What happened?
what happens when a large object meets a very fragile resistance
New bike
Lightweight.
day.
and the earth?
Yeah.
I landed on his bike, and his rear triangle is toast.
One bike becomes two pieces of one bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I never realized that I was an audible injury person, because usually when I crash, it happens kind of in the middle of nowhere. On a mountain
There
bike
was
ride.
some sort of a noise.
I think, and tell me, I'll move my mic away so it'll sound like it's from a distance. Was it kind of like?
Before or after? Because
I think impact.
so
Yeah.
that was your after. That was your like.
That was your
Yeah.
after.
That was when you.
Oh, when I hit, I think it was like.
It was this like clearly something was wrong. I certainly didn't know when I got home. I was like, I honest to God closed my eyes. I thought I was falling. I was like, I guess I'm falling. I don't know. You hear the carbon. It's such a familiar noise.
Being
Yeah.
directly behind it,
Yeah.
I was like,
God damn! Why does this happen to
yeah,
me?
I know. I'm the witness. I have to be there for it. Yeah, I pulled right off the front and I went right behind you guys, and then I just saw it all go down in front of me. I was like, I don't know how that.
Wait, you were in the back?
I was
there?
directly I was in the rear, like entirely, and I had one hand on the bars. I had a bottle in my mouth the whole time. I was like, you just gotta live. You just gotta live. We don't need two of us down. But yeah, it was.
Dad's a goner.
Yeah. The
He's
second,
lived a good life.
the
You still got
second,
years ahead of you to do a hold my beer moment.
the second I saw you like practically vault halfway across the road, I was
At
like,
a 45-degree angle.
yeah, I was like,
His day's over.
yeah, I knew it was done. But you didn't make a noise. It was all just like crack, and then everything went silent until you hit.
I didn't have a chance to even go, what the fuck? Because usually I hit something like that, and I'm like, the fuck? Or something. I didn't even get a chance. It was like, bam! Fuck, I'm going down. And I still relive that moment. I still have that. That is a little tiny little PTSD moment that I still can hear that sound.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the wheel did flat. It did eventually flat. I went for a ride, 2 days ago, and I was like, oh, different wheels. Bulk of the injury was only this, believe it or not. But this was a puncture wound style of when I was looking at it, I wonder if that was from his bike.
It
Good
might have
thing you're
been.
not on blood thinners anymore.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I'd be dead.
Yeah, the
Right
top
in
one looks like the
Right in
seat
there.
stay, and the bottom one looks like the chain stay.
No.
That's about how far apart they were.
That's
They were like,
Because I
oh,
think
yeah.
that's what happened is I went down like that, and then the jolt went into my shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good ride to miss.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I said.
Was I the butterfly effect?
You might have been. Well, my wife was going to say to me right before I left, she says, she didn't say it, but she thought to herself, he's not wearing his regular Packfiller kit. Why isn't he wearing his regular Packfiller kit? I
'Cause
wore
I'm
one of
fresh.
the.
You're the
today.
butterfly effect.
Yeah, I wore one of the black jerseys.
You're the butterfly
So it's
effect.
like I wanted to crash. And
Yep.
you know what? Earlier in the ride, when we were going down a section, I was thinking to myself, Jesus Christ, this road is horrible. Why do I feel like nobody's pointing anything out? But it wasn't that. It was just a really shitty road that went alongside the highway there.
Oh yeah.
Right when you come up top Thorpe.
It's
just a
chip
shitty
seal.
road. And so, I don't. Has anybody heard how Steve is doing?
Yeah, he broke the clavicle. So
Did he?
Fuck.
He did break one.
yeah, so
Welcome to the club.
yeah, it's unfortunate, but
Yeah.
I don't know. He was supposed to see somebody this week. I don't know how it went after
Oh my
that,
God.
Cracked, or do you have any separation?
but I don't know. Yeah, just broken is what I heard. So
Damn.
yeah, he'll be out for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but he was in good spirits.
I feel like shit because of it. But it's not like it's my fault.
It's
But
an incident.
I had to text you guys that day, and I said, was this my fault?
No. That was just crazy place. Like, wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah.
God damn it. And it sucked. So I do want to kind of talk about, before we get to the tour, about crashing and recovery. Because, Paul, we know your status in terms of things in your earlier fall. You're still feeling some breathing effects due to it. David, you were going around checking everybody involved, and you mentioned, first of all, I think it was nice having you there, man. I don't tell anybody I ever said that.
No, okay.
But you said that ibuprofen was going to be my friend, and you couldn't have been more right. And by the way, I took your segment out of the show because I'm going to ask you a bunch of medical questions as we go here. And I will admit that ibuprofen, my wife had, I know I probably shouldn't even mention this, some 600 milligram strength ibuprofen. That's like three regular ibuprofens.
Yeah, you can also just take 3 ibuprofen.
Yeah. But I thought ibuprofen was bad. I thought we weren't supposed to take it.
Well, so the problem is, when I was growing up and our parents were like, oh, you sneezed or you moved wrong. Here, take an ibuprofen.
It's like Windex in my,
Yeah, my Greek weapon, big fat Greek weapon.
Yeah, we were using it for every little thing. There's a time and a place for ibuprofen for sure, and musculoskeletal injuries are certainly one of those time and places. I mean, anti-inflammatories like ibuprofen or prescription strength things, naproxen, which is also known as Aleve over-the-counter, with Tylenol are incredibly effective at treating musculoskeletal injuries, whether that's a strain, a sprain, a broken bone. They're actually incredibly effective for broken bones. But you kind of have to stay on it. Like, you have to keep up on it when you have an acute injury like that. And then the idea is you just don't take it. You're not supposed to take it for a month, and you're supposed to stay hydrated while you do it. And short term, it can be very safe for most people. So, especially young people.
What's max in a day?
Well, for ibuprofen, it's largely going to depend on your weight. Another product.
I think, line it up, man.
No, man.
shot.
My God.
But they anywhere from like 200 to 800 milligrams every 6 hours is going to be safe for most people. But the 800, I will say, most people, like, they'll grab 4 of those suckers, and they'll be like, I always take 4. It's what I need. If you just back off, you're probably going to get the same effect with 2. Like, most people don't need 600 to 800. I think 1 to 2 is enough. Most people just reach for
maximum strength.
Yeah, 3 to 4 off the bat. So I would always tell people to start with honestly, just take 1. When I have a headache, I take 1 ibuprofen, 200 milligrams.
I've been taking 400 a day.
For
400 milligrams a day.
Forever or what?
No, just since I hurt my shoulder.
Well, and the problem with ibuprofen is it'll wear off. So,
fuck.
I mean, you can.
No wonder I feel like shit all the day.
Repeat it a couple times in the day safely for a week to 2 weeks, and you'd be fine.
Oh, okay.
Because you don't have kidney injuries or issues, and maybe drink a little less beer while you do it, or add some water if you don't want to do that.
Add water to your beer.
Add water. Well, between beers, drink more water.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because if you add water to your beer, that's just like drinking Michelob Ultra.
Yeah.
You could just drink Michelob Ultra.
Why?
What's
you
the
gotta
point?
hydrate.
Tastes like frog piss.
Why have you tasted frog
Why do you know what
piss?
frog piss is?
I'm a farm boy.
I still can't believe The Rock is on the bar right now.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Jackson, as you're the youngest, would you usually be assumed to be the quickest recover? After your fall last year, how long did it take to feel normal again? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago. Now, God, it's
was
2
it
years
a couple
ago.
years ago?
Yeah.
Shit.
How do I feel now?
Yeah. No, how long did it take you upon the crash to recover, just physically?
6 hours.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing it probably was.
I raced the next race in 2 weeks. Yeah, and I was fine. I mean, fitness was
2
different.
weeks.
Yeah,
Okay.
2 weeks.
Okay. I thought you were like the next race the next day.
No. I mean, I've done that, but that was when I was a lot younger. But I was pretty quick. It was just road rash, and I barely bumped my head. I maybe took a week off.
Okay. I rode. That was on Friday. I rode on Monday, and it felt pretty good. I had ibuprofen in my bloodstream, and as the ride progressed, it felt better. Like, got things moving or something like that, the blood flowing. Tuesday, I went for a ride, and it was not good. And I didn't take any ibuprofen because I'm terrified. I'm terrified of meds, of pills. They scare me. I don't want to be an addict. My beer's getting low.
I think generally
Hooked on
speaking,
ibuprofen.
you're
can't stop,
pretty
man.
safe there.
so
yeah.
good. No, I've got a family history. You know, you mentioned about the doctor that prescribed, it for everything, and my grandfather was that kind of a guy, and it's
It's like ibuprofen.
no, it's everything. It's prescription strength. It's all that kind of stuff. My grandfather was big into that.
Yeah.
How about the mental side of things? Getting your confidence back. Paul, how are you dealing with it mentally after that?
I have no problems hopping on the bike and everything. It's just frustrating that you're trying to push, and there's as Sam and I were talking at one time, it's like having a governor. You just can't. I couldn't. Last TNT when I went out, it's like I'm maxed. I mean, I have shortness
This
of breath
old
and
fuck.
stuff. Yeah,
Oh my god. We should talk about that.
it's terrible.
That was that. Okay. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to just jump into it. TNT last week, this guy, he rolls up and like you were crushing it on the climb. You need to give yourself credit for that. This asshole, David, went to the front and was like, so the 300 watts probably isn't enough, right, guys? And he's like 450. And he just goes up there and just absolutely throws up the throttle, right? Like it was insane. So I'm like, there goes Paul.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Well, yeah.
So then,
But they regrouped. I mean, halfway up, I'm dropped, and it was like a minute 30. I started counting when they went around the corner. That's how far I got dropped. I got dropped halfway, and I lost a minute 30, and I tried to keep the same pace that I was going. They waited for me, and then on the downhill, I'm not even recovering. I was just like. And I did one pull, and then Clint went by, and then it was, here we go again. So it's
see, here's the thing, is I'm like, all right, here goes the motor pacing. Paul, just sit in. We're all gonna just rotate through, just try to stay on the wheel, right? Yeah. And this guy comes through. He's like, you know what? He pulls out his matchbook, right?
Yep.
And it's like a little pocket, a little pocket thing, and he goes, "Fuck you guys," and goes. And pulls out the blowtorch and goes, "Fuck you," and just like, I'm going to the front. And I was like, what are you doing?
He's
the wind blew out
something about a shield.
Yeah, going out on the shield.
Yeah, he's going out on a shield.
I mean, it was downhill. I mean, how in the heck do you get dropped downhill? Never happened.
Yeah.
No, I did. I can't say that anymore.
Was it right after the steep downhill when Clint pulled through? He was going. So I was doing that like same 450 watts in his draft.
Yeah, he has
so
bigger
hard.
gearing than you.
Oh yeah, he has big gearing and he has power. So it's crazy.
Bigger than a 5311.
5310. Or 5410. His is 5410.
No, he has a 50. I checked.
His whatever
5010 because that's the largest you can get unless you're a pro. Because he's
but he ordered it off of eBay.
Yeah,
it was like it was an
it comes
aftermarket.
48. That's the largest.
Black market chain rings.
Yeah.
Hey,
the thing is,
you want a 58? Come on here.
What's the power?
Yeah, we gotta get some
when
confidential
you go to
information from you though first.
Steal one of the bikes from Visma.
Okay.
Because they have 54s. 54.
I hear it's really easy to do. Just ask, what was it,
Kofidis?
Kofidis, yeah.
Steal as many bikes
I did
as you
just
want.
hear about that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
First or second day. Second day.
How about the mental things? Like David, I remember you were dealing with your with the incident with the driver and stuff like that. How long did it that was a tough thing to bounce back from.
Yeah, it didn't affect. It really didn't affect me with racing because, if anything, I felt better in that environment.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it was
because it was a driver and it was a completely separated incident.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
I think it's different if somebody wants to kill you.
Yeah. That took a while. It took well over, probably. I mean, to be honest, I still get freaked out sometimes. So, I think until I was riding without too much concern, like more good than bad, probably took a year and a half.
Okay.
That took a lot longer than most things. But, like when I've had crashes in races, Yeah, you're like, or training rides, you're cautious for a little
A
bit.
crit crash, I would imagine being, like greasing out in a corner would maybe be something that would probably cause you to be a little gun shy. I would think.
You know what? One of the best things you can do in
Haven't you ever crashed in a crit?
Damn right, yeah. But when I was young and pliable, but now I'd be like, oh, fuck, I don't know, man, because you get that confidence where you're pretty sure your tires are going to grip no matter what, and then one day they're going to. And you're all over the place.
I think one of the best things you can do those in a race is immediately get back in.
Yeah.
Is what?
Immediately get back in. You get back in the crit as soon as possible and just try to basically be like, oh, oops, here we go, and then try to push.
Don't
through
think about it. Yeah.
You finish the race strong, and you'll be like, well, all right, whatever, and you move on.
I wanted to keep riding after the rock
This
incident.
is different. Yeah.
You guys didn't let me.
No,
That was different.
By the time you hit the ground, honestly, by the time you started making that noise, I had already called.
I think as he was 45, I think you already probably had your phone out and you were like,
Mom,
he's going down.
He's at he broke the frame.
Did you hear that?
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
I was off of my bike and behind you so fast. I had everything set down. I even perfectly set my bike down in the proper direction and everything, and I was just boom right over there, already on the phone.
You had really good
Instantly.
bedside manner too. I mean, you were a champ. You honestly were like, I'm gonna call Mom, stuff like that, get her over here, and things like that. And
Yeah, I wouldn't let you put your bike on the car or take your helmet. You were like, no, I'm gonna do this.
I was
No,
trying to
you're
get my
not.
bike off the car when we
Why
got
you
home. He's
try
like,
to do
stop
this?
it! I'll put it away. And you did. You even
Yeah.
took my computer off the bike and set it on the table over there to charge.
Yeah, it's
The funny thing is,
you crashed.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be doing shit.
You know how much demand I'm going to put on you when I'm old and feeble and can't do shit, Jackson?
Probably none. He's gonna have to fight you for it.
Lawn's getting a little long
Yeah.
here, Jackson.
I pooped my diapers.
yep, I need more wet wipes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna be in a wheelchair mowing your own lawn.
But in that incident, I'm sitting there. I was getting into okay, you were standing up, and that's not good. After a crash, you need to sit down because you could pass out. And I'm trying to tell you weren't. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, David's here. What? I have no obligation.
I'm
Then a paramedic came.
Yeah.
And you were nice. He didn't say anything. He's like, yeah, I'm a paramedic. And every guy, okay, I can do this and this. And
First of all, really cool
So,
that they did.
was
That
nice
was
they
an
stopped. That was
interesting
nice.
social experiment with Steve had his jersey off and God, his back was pretty scraped up and he was sitting there and not feeling very good.
His arm was twisted around backwards.
Yeah.
I was sitting on the curb and blood was running down my arm and it looked pretty cool.
There's blood in the
I have to
street.
admit. There was
Yeah.
blood in the street. And seeing the amount of cars that chose to slow down and ask, and those that just, made
Pointed
eye
and
contact with me. I saw them make eye contact, and then they just kept driving. And it's just
because they made
an
eye contact
interesting
with
dynamic.
you. If
That's
they made
it.
eye contact with anybody else, they would have stopped.
Like,
They made eye contact with you, and you were like, "I will kill
That's that guy in the grocery store is not very nice.
It's like,
I see him at Super One all the time. And he never makes eye contact.
it's like he's got a doll's eyes. They're
Yeah.
dead eyes.
Yes.
Yeah, there's dead inside. Okay. How would you guys rate your luck in terms of crash frequency? We rag on Primoz Roglic.
Yeah.
Primoz Roglic is an amazing bike handler. The guy can ride. The guy is an incredible cyclist. He has shit luck. Or do you equate it to luck, or do you equate it to being at the right place at the right time? Do you equate it to bike handling skills? What is it, and how would you say you rank in terms of crash frequency in your career?
One, when it comes to Roglic, especially watching this tour, you begin to question his placement in the pack. He's always getting gapped every single time. There's the wind. He's always on the back foot, even in the Giro. Every time there was wind, Roglic was like a minute off.
Yeah.
So I wonder if he just places himself really poorly in the pack. And then with my luck, I got it all out in 1 year.
Yeah.
And other than that, I've been really lucky. Been behind crashes, been adjacent to them, but haven't gotten hit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, exactly. Knock.
I think positioning, you can be the best bike handler there is, but positioning's huge.
Massive.
Knowing where to put yourself and where not to put yourself in a field. You look at Jonas and Tade, they're always in like the top 10, 15 riders. They're avoiding everything. They're spending extra energy to make sure they're safe. Sam's not here, so I can say it, but he does a good job of avoiding crashes. He always tends to put himself in a good spot in a pack. I don't know how he got that skill, but forget I said it when he comes back.
Yeah.
But I think that's a huge factor, is like knowing where to be in the pack. And I guess Roglic is an amazing bike handler, but yeah, I gotta wonder, is he always in the wrong spot at the wrong time?
I think in this tour they're kind of protecting him, trying to get him to at least the 10th stage.
Shit. Be a record.
So, yeah.
How much does luck come into it for you personally?
I don't know. I think I had a season, I think it was 89 or 90, where I was finding the pavement, and it was, I think I might have had, because we raced 4 times a week, and I must have had at least 2 crashes a month, and there was probably 2 of them out of like 25 that I went down. That it was just like, are you kidding me? I mean, it was just the strangest things that happened. So, that was that year. But then I've had years where I don't know why things are happening all around, and I'm just
just weeding through it.
Yeah, it missed me. Or I see the rock first and don't point it out. No, I did point it out.
No. Yeah, I go through a little. I haven't had any for a long time, and as I said to my wife, I think it was just my turn, because I had crazy. Not had a crash in a good amount of time. And what's that?
Does anybody think they run in groups because after you crash, you have this hesitancy that makes you less confident, and you're like more likely to crash because of that? I feel like I've experienced that in the past, where you're scared, and when you ride scared, you're not riding as well.
Or
that
tense.
Is true.
Yeah, and when the body tenses up, you're less likely to absorb that impact, those bumps, those things like that. No, I get it. Yeah. I get it.
I think in races, for me, it's always important to always stay in the top quarter.
Yeah.
Halfway through, there's crap happens all the time. People start getting jumped, and when you're in crits where that wash machine thing's going, you just gotta find that rhythm and get the heck out of there. You start dropping back and catch that guy that's going up the left-hand side, catch his wheel, and get out of there, because it's not a safe place. And if you're behind, you're likely to stack it too.
Let's say the inevitable happens and you do end up with this, and this is the second half of the Ask Dr. David. Wound care. How, I came home and I took a towel and I scrubbed the shit out of my elbow, thinking, well, I did land on a bike. Hopefully there's carbon fiber in there and it'll work like some sort of a Spider-Man thing, and I'll turn into some sort of superhero.
That's cool.
But how do you know
carcinogenic, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, good luck with that.
How do you know that you've got the wound clean enough? How do you dress it properly? And to Neosporin or not to Neosporin? Should you dry this fucker out, or should you keep it moist?
Oh gosh. No.
Moist.
Oh. No.
Oh.
That's the sound. That's it.
Oh God.
Nasty.
So, yeah, getting wound the cleaning the wound out right off the bat is important. Irrigation with, honestly, you should be using sterile water. Where are you going to get sterile water?
That's not the stuff that comes from the tap.
It's not the stuff that comes from the tap. You can go to the doctor and they can irrigate it with sterile water and some flushes and syringes. But really aggressively washing out your wounds with, it could just be, for me personally, I'm using soap and water in the shower, because, like an unscented Dove or something that's not, if you're putting your, what's that red stuff? Old Spice. If you're putting your Old Spice all over your wounds, it's not going to feel very good. But just some gentle cleansing soap and a bunch of water, and washing it out until you can see either tissue or bright red, like clean blood coming out. You don't want to see any, dark spots.
What about like the Dial antibacterial soap?
For your hands?
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to use that for tattoos.
Yeah, you could use that, but I personally, I always just use a non-scented bar of soap.
All right, cool.
We're talking about how to dress your wounds in a non-medical setting. I want to
Sorry.
specify.
Yeah.
This is not the
I did-
recommended way to do it.
My wife we did buy a bottle of saline.
Yeah.
And I
That's gonna
first of all did not realize that saline shoots out of that bottle, hence it's meant to clean your wounds.
Yeah.
And so I'm holding my elbow up like this in front of the mirror, and I went, and it sprayed blood all over me. I looked like I was a zombie kill victim. It was just like all over me, all over my bathroom window. It was, don't move into this house.
That's awesome. Wait, was it like a or was
It's just a spray bottle. It
you
shoots
can,
it out.
You can buy saline, and that would be a good thing to irrigate it with.
Okay.
And then once you are pretty sure you've got it cleaned, I tell everybody that comes into my office with any sort of a non-infected wound, which at this point it's not infected, right? It's just happened. You don't have any signs
No
of infection.
redness.
I don't know. You tell
A
me.
little bit.
Yeah, that's not.
Like
No,
that.
there's no redness, drainage. You know,
Around the outside.
Yeah, swelling, pain, any of those sorts of things. So in a non-infected wound setting, which most people right after they get injured, it's not getting infected right away.
Yeah.
So we're talking about generic wound care for non-infected wounds. Vaseline is so underrated. Everybody reaches for Neosporin. All you need is petroleum jelly for a bit of a barrier to keep the wound moist and covered. Tegaderm's nice for covering the wound. Ace bandages, whatever. I would just say, change the Band-Aid a couple times a day. Apply Vaseline. Wipe it off between applications. Unless you're getting signs of infection, I wouldn't be putting anything antibacterial on it. It can slow down wound healing.
So
And bacitracin,
should I
I
be
feel like is
should
better
I
than-
still be putting stuff like that on this now, or are we past the phase of just like let it scab and let it go?
Yeah, I mean, you've kind of missed the boat here.
No, I mean in terms of like how do you speed up that healing process?
Yeah, I still think if you applied a little bit of Vaseline every day, I mean, you don't want to put
It's gonna get on the couch, man.
Put a Band-Aid on.
put a Band-Aid over it.
Are you walking
Shave your
around
arms.
with a moist
He does.
band or moist
Yeah.
wound?
A moist elbow.
Well, he told me to put Vaseline.
Imagine
on.
how slick the house is going to be.
That's what I'm
Bumping into
saying.
shit.
Fuck, the dog licked it again. That's so gross.
But you know what?
Yeah.
Also,
Got a Lazarus thing going on here.
when it's scabbed over like that, it's also okay to just, if you just leave
Pick
it
it?
alone and don't pick it.
Lick it.
Oh, dang.
I
But
like
you
that.
lick it,
so-
yeah.
yeah.
That's a pretty superficial wound. So if you want to just let it scab over and
Wow.
not pick at it, but the problem is you're going to pick at it.
Yeah.
I
do.
might.
And when it starts to bleed, put Vaseline on it.
I've
Okay.
got a little box where I put all my scabs in.
God,
That's
that
a
is
keeper.
so
That's a
gross.
keeper.
Save me from myself.
My God.
You see, Mr. Powers, I'm peeling.
We should call this good enough wound care.
Yeah, good enough.
enough.
Good enough wound care for your at-home
So
cyclist.
though, but so what? Let's say it is infected. What is the holy shit moment?
When do you go see somebody?
When you get these red stripes going up.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. I mean, people don't. We've been told as children since
Neosporin, ibuprofen,
Okay.
right? That's what they tell you, right? Just put
No,
it-
we've been told everything's going to get infected.
Oh.
If you touch a frog, you're going to get infected. Everything's going to get infected. Nothing ever got infected. My parents would just rub the dirt on it, and then you go back outside, and nothing would get infected.
yeah. But
So what is infected?
So signs of an infection in the arm or the wound like you have, it's going to be getting red and more painful than you'd expect. So you have like some pain right where the wound happened,
Hell yeah.
but the skin around it getting really painful to light touch, red, any sort of drainage,
Fevers.
especially pus. If you have fevers, you're really past the point.
Mm-hmm.
That's systemic infection now, not localized.
You're going to die. It's dysentery.
No, it could
Start
get
digging
bad
your
like
grave.
that. It could
can.
get bad like
It
that.
can, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah.
if you just ignore it and say, hey, everything's fine, yeah, superficial wounds can turn into cellulitis, which can turn into sepsis. Not likely in most young, healthy people. But if it's red, hot, swollen, and way more painful than you'd expect for a normal superficial abrasion, then those are signs that you might need to go either get oral antibiotics or a topical thing like bacitracin or something like that.
You had me at red hot and swollen.
Red hot.
Oh.
Man, I love that you can see your tire.
You think that's what that is?
I can almost guarantee it. Like, look at that. It's like,
scrape on there?
yeah.
You okay, Jackson?
Yeah, I kind of started to cramp a little bit.
Oh.
We're boring him.
Old Amy.
So okay. My last question about Crash is the elephant in the room. Steve has a broken bike. Who here has a spare bike? Raise your hand.
For his size?
No, just period. A
just
spare
donate.
bike. If you run into a crash situation
Specifically for
yourself,
Well, I mean, we've all got more
road
than one bike.
You
but
crash your road bike. What do you have a spare bike lying around?
Immediately buy a new one.
David's like, that's all the reason I need.
Jackson, you don't have a spare bike.
Kinda. I like
Your
have an
old
old road bike.
Track.
Yeah, but I really, you're doing cabling and housing. I'd have to drop it off with you. But yeah,
Every
That's about it.
road bike I've ever owned is on the wall in my garage broken.
Okay.
So I have always
You throw it up there.
ridden until it breaks and then buy a new one immediately.
yeah.
Because I
What brand?
The previous ones were all Specialized.
Thank you very much.
But now,
Say
I
no more.
don't have. I mean, I do have a spare road bike per se. It's an old steel bike, but I don't have a spare road bike.
open that door.
No, I don't. In the road bikes.
What about the Peugeot?
Jesus,
the
hey,
Peugeot.
you just tap
Yeah,
dancing
thank
Christ.
you.
What's wrong with
Peugeot
you?
PX10. This is a
That
great
Peugeot,
bike.
that Peugeot is from 1986.
You don't have a modern
So?
racing bike
Sweet.
that you would be able to like go fast on.
I would consider my gravel bike the closest backup.
Yeah, that's what I would probably
I
do.
would
Yeah.
ride my dad's Serrata or my gravel bike.
Yeah. What would you do if you were suddenly out of commission and didn't have that bike? Now we do have mountain bikes, gravel bikes, stuff like that. But what kind of a situation would you put yourself in if it's like, oh my God, my bike is broken? How long could you last? And how much where would you be willing to find the money? Would you credit card that motherfucker, or would you
Immediately buy a new bike.
sell a
So this is a doctor.
organ?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
David is a doctor.
We got the school teachers over here. Yeah.
But that is not unique to my current situation. I would have immediately, I always, as soon as I broke a bike, I was like, I have to have
He was
something.
a broke ass college student. And he went through
I
this.
will find a fucking way. I will find a new bike. Like,
Craigslist.
yeah. I'm not saying I'll immediately go to Wheel Sport, our local specialized shop, and buy a brand new $10,000 bike, but I will immediately find a new bike. I'm not going a week without a road bike.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Paul?
That's
Yeah?
what I did. I just got a new frame
Yeah.
until the cleaning lady broke it. So
It sucked.
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm gonna get that baby fixed.
I
'cause
will
that'll be
admit,
my-
I would credit card. I would do it.
I can't
Yeah.
do that. I can't.
I'd just take Sam's bike. That's what I did last time.
Yeah,
That
I
is
got
true.
a couple.
Yeah, yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, I mean,
So I'm the only one who would damage his financial setting to be able to continue to.
Aren't you teaching a
live his life
class
in
next
informed.
year about financial?
I am teaching
responsibility?
financial literacy. I have for the last year.
Okay, kids, this is the
turns
unit
out-
about what's your credit limit.
Yeah.
turns out my wife, there's a bike fund. I didn't even know about it.
What?
Yeah,
Wait,
she
what?
puts money aside. She does all this financial stuff, and she you have all these funds.
Well, I've seen the way
I've
you
got a
spend
bike
it.
fund.
And
Sam, hold on to her.
I know. I was like, how much money's in there?
Everything she asks.
and she did
And-
not tell you the amount.
No.
did she?
Worship her like the goddess she is.
It was amazing.
My
Yeah,
wife
she's
would
like,
be
"You
like,
could
"What are
get
you
that."
gonna do?"
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I ended up with my most recent road bike. 'Cause I was like, man, I really want to get a new road bike. She goes, well, just get it. What do you want? And I was like,
What?
Wow. Huh? Say what? Hold my beer.
yeah.
Watch me do this McTwisty.
See, it's a good thing she picked me up back then. It was like,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my!
He
Yeah,
needs help.
seriously.
Yeah.
I don't know
Whatever,
what I
he needs
do.
a bike fund.
For whatever
Yeah,
it's worth, I
bike
put
fund.
myself in debt too.
Did you?
No, I would.
You would. I
Yeah,
would.
for sure.
Yeah.
David's like, I don't care.
I definitely would.
Money has fallen off the gold
I'm
standard
kind of in
a
the
long
same
time
boat as
ago.
you are, David. I don't know what I would do with myself.
How much does a kidney go for?
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably do
Plasma.
that. Plasma.
Yeah.
Feet pictures are going pretty crazy right now.
No shit.
Yeah,
Really?
I'm not joking.
TikTok.
And by the way-
I'm sorry, but I'm going to say this. They have made like over triple what I could ever dream of making in my professional career in like a month.
Taking
my
pictures of
God.
your
Taking
feet.
pictures of their feet. Yes. It's
Well, I
a
don't know
real,
if
it's a
anybody's going to
lucrative
want to
business.
see my feet right now because this is
I'm
my
going to
last.
tell you though, you're 100% wrong.
No, I'm going to show
No.
you something here shortly, and Paul's going to because this is a question
What's this
generally
fungus?
tailored towards
Feet
Paul.
in every
No,
picture
are
that-
you and I
some
running
weird
into a
fuckers.
phase in life where our skin is getting like paper thin?
Yeah, it's creper skin. I've got
Because
it, yeah.
since the crash, okay, I'm going to hold up my leg right now. Since the crash, I've got this. These are from the crash. This happened today, and the back of my leg happened just a license plate. I bumped up against the license plate,
You see,
bleeding
there's
all over the
4
place.
layers of
Today-
the epidermis. There's
Today I was walking around doing sprinkler shit. And I looked down at my leg, and I've got this gash across the front of my leg. I'm like going,
where'd that come
"Motherfucker,
from? Yeah.
Where did I do that?
Yeah, you see, you know,
Raspberry bush. You got one of those?
I do, but it wasn't that. I think it was. I don't know.
see, you're insecure about them. Whip out those dogs, take a couple of pictures, and you're $130.
those dogs.
Yeah, you got $130,000 sitting in your bank
can do
account
the
real
voice
fast.
sound again, and that would be a very disgusting.
Oh
Dirty
my
feet.
God.
Oh, no.
Toe jam.
Okay, I really might have to look into that. 'Cause you know, you're not going to lose your job
Do you
for
really,
taking foot
do you
pictures.
really
It's
want to
faceless.
contribute to mental illness? That's what you're doing.
It's a relief.
It's never going away, bud.
It's here.
Take me out of this planet.
I'm helping
I'm
these
done.
people out. I'm
Jesus.
helping these people because if not, they're going to go out and just commit some horrible atrocities. Just
like chop people's
some-
feet off?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Why chop?
This
I
is
am
escalating.
providing
We
a
did- okay,
service.
we did get
Jackson, take us into another subject.
He's the one that started
I
it.
started
Yeah.
this.
Time to get into the Tour de France coverage. Speaking of addiction,
You all need meds.
He's not wrong.
Today's stage, in case you're keeping up with the Tour de France, stage 5 was won by none other than Mr. Remco Evenepoel with a 16.68 second time advantage over Tadej Pogacar, Eduardo Affini in third, Bruno Amarai in fourth. Wow.
Right.
Kevin Vauquelin
What a
in
hero.
fifth.
Yeah.
At 49 seconds, Florian Lipowitz, Ivan Romero, Joao Almeida, Luke Plapp. Notice I haven't got to any big names that you're curious about. Pablo Castrillo, Matteo Jorgensen, Primoz Roglic, and then in 13th place, 1 minute and 21 seconds back, Jonas Vingegaard. Which takes us into the overall standings, currently sitting at Tadej Pogacar in yellow with a 42-second lead over Remco Evenepoel, Kevin Vauquelin at 59 seconds back, Jonas Vingegaard now at 113 back, Matteo Jorgensen 122 USA, and we go from there. Primoz Roglic back at 230 at 8th place. I will ask this question first, gentlemen. Is it over?
Nope.
No.
No, absolutely not.
Why or why not?
There's so much. The way they've been
But
going
we're
so
talking about
fast.
Tadej freaking Pogacar.
Yeah, but I've never seen Tadej pull a face like he did the day before yesterday.
On stage 4, at the top of that climb.
Yeah, everybody was at the limit. That's why, to me,
He was
it's
on
like-
his knees.
Yeah, and you wonder why Vingegaard was so blown.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody, look at I know that the winds changed and they got stronger and it kind of changed the times, but Remco should have just cleaned up, and everybody was on their knees after yesterday, and it affected. And I was thinking after yesterday because you text about like, God, that would have staged. It was like watching a classic,
It was
was
crazy.
and it was so hard. Those guys, everybody was suffering. When you see Van der Poel like 50 meters out, just drop his head, and just pluck it,
Yeah.
and Vingegaard almost passed him on the sprint. I mean, everybody was on their knees, and I'm thinking, shit's gonna happen.
You saw
In a week and a
Vingegaard
half in the last
But
week.
you
things
saw
are gonna go,
Vingegaard sit down for about 5 pedal strokes, and that to me was that what we've seen in some past tours is that, oh shit, he's gone. But it was like 5-10 pedal strokes, and then all of a sudden he was back on the gas again. Maybe it's because he saw Tadej was slowing down or something.
I think what's very interesting about that, it was, oh my God, wow, such a cool race. What was crazy about that is it was that mental game of, I don't want to get gapped because this is his strong place, is those short, powerful, punchy climbs. If he can't drop me here, he can't drop me anywhere else, right? Yeah. And so it was like a mental game, and you could tell that switch flipped, and he's like, I'm going to burn matches. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And I think he did. He burned a lot of matches for today because of what he did yesterday, but he also showed, you're not dropping me. And, like, that's pretty amazing.
I think it's because I also was like, oh, he's gone. No, he's back with him.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I agreed after yesterday. I was like, wow, that was a really big mental game, that they are really equal this time. And then he dropped a stinker today. Yeah. And I think all those matches makes you wonder, was it really worth it? Because a minute a minute, like, yes, you cannot drop me here or anywhere else, but if you don't drop him and they don't drop each other, you're still a minute behind.
113 is where he's sitting overall.
Yeah, I'm curious about, like, I looked how deep his front wheel was, and there's a section, there's mainly tailwind and then a headwind and then a tailwind. But he was going, they had visual where he was leaning his bike. Mm-hmm. And that takes a lot, you know. He said he was fighting his bike and fighting his legs. He was moving
all over the place.
Yeah, he was not comfortable. And you have, maybe that's his bad day. You know, that could be his bad day. Yeah. So, it'll be interesting. If you look at Visma, I'm curious they're all pulling back. They have a plan, and it's going to happen in the last.
Adam Yates is on vacation.
Look at it. Well, yeah, he doesn't care. And same with Wout. Wout was. Did you see? And Sepp Kuss, Wout. Other than Affini, was the only one that really poured any gas and Vindigo on that TT. I mean, they like came out of the ramp, and they kind of went around the corner, and then they dropped down into their aero position. They were not putting any effort. They don't care how much time. You watch, it's going to really go crazy.
Also, like, they've been aggressive the first few days. You know, like, they have put, like, you know, Jonas up there, Matteo up there. Like, they have had, you know, lighting up the stages, which is pretty cool. Like, to already have that happening. They have a very strong squad, and I think that once it steps into more of their territory, a minute isn't going to matter. Like, if something
if Tade
cracks,
has a bad day.
If Tade has a bad day up in the high mountains, like the Queen stage, which we'll be at, is going to be just insane. Yeah.
Yeah. You could ensure he has a bad day.
I would never do that to Tade.
No, you wouldn't.
I mean, even to turn the page, though, and look at, like, the UAE team, it's been pretty awesome to see, like, Narvaez yesterday, how well he rode. I mean, he was probably top 10, and then Joao Almeida was riding like a classics rider yesterday.
7th place at 153 right now.
That was really impressive out of those two. And and Tim Wellens has been the rider of the tour so far. He has been an unbelievable domestique.
Yes. What's crazy is that both UAE and Jumbo have very good backups in the top 10.
Yeah, Matteo's sitting right behind Jonas at 128.
The dynamic
122.
The dynamic there is going to be insane because also with Almeida, right? Like they both have people that like you have to watch everybody.
Exactly.
It's going to be a cool tour.
Yeah.
Red Bull Boy Hansgrohe. Now he's been, you know, we talked about how he's been kind of missing the moves, but Roglic moved up 5 places today to 8th at 2:30. Florian Leibowitz is at 9th, 1 second behind him. So you've got a top 10 just listed of like riders who have a teammate with them, except for Remco Evenepoel.
Yeah,
I worry about Remco in the mountains.
Yeah,
I do, especially seeing him. He just doesn't seem like he's fully there. His wits are fully there yet. I think it takes him about a week for him to really click in. I mean, even yesterday at the top of the climb, he got dropped.
Yeah.
There was a moment where he was off the back by a good 50 meters.
I don't think he has that explosive power in the mountains to
he has
make
no support.
anything major.
Stage 18
is
going to fucking hurt.
And there's a rumor.
Yeah. Is it
now?
Is it Ineos or is it Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe?
Red Bull.
Because
if you think about it, it comes from
Specialized.
Specialized. It's one of those things. He's the golden boy.
Yeah.
And there's rumors through the Escape Collective did a kind of like a little loosely thing. We have good, good resources that told us this is going to happen.
It would make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, because
Roglic,
Specialized paid a large part of Sagan's.
Is his contract or something?
I don't know.
I think he only had a 2-year contract, but I could be wrong.
But
if he's gone, that would make sense.
The other major suspicion rolling out there is you notice that Total Energy is technically sponsoring 2 teams.
That up, yeah.
They have that little burst on the bottom of the Ineos kit, and then they also have a team Total Energy, which we can always know that the writing on the wall consists of very similar to what Soudal did. They're going to probably drop the smaller team and pair up with Ineos. Is that a wise investment? What has Ineos done lately that we can all go, holy shit, they're dancing?
Well, I did hear yesterday. I was listening to the broadcast of the tour that was going on, and it was saying that because Pidcock went to Q36.5, Pinarello was thinking about switching over because don't they have
Scott?
Oh,
well, they have Scott now, but
yeah.
don't they have somebody in their ranks that's
The
pretty close to
owner
Pinarello?
of that 36.5 is owner of Pinarello.
Right. And so
Oh, hello.
we were thinking about, or they were thinking that was going to get dropped from Ineos, which would be crazy because that team has not ridden Pinarellos ever.
not since the Sky.
And Specialized was thinking about going on. And so that's why the Remco thing was going to happen. However, the Total Energies thing, I did hear that team will probably no longer have that.
What team? Who is? What bikes are they on right now?
They're on Envy right now. And so I heard that there was a thing about like celebrating that director because he'd been in there for like 30 years.
God, why am I? It's not Bernadotte, Jean-René Bernadotte. No, I'm drawing a blank on who it was, but I mean since the Peugeot days.
Yeah.
The fucking Peugeot days.
And
Paul
so-
and I know what that means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that team will probably have to find another title sponsor for next year because I think it's going to go to Ineos next year.
Fuck.
So Ineos is Total is you can't have a major sponsor
No.
in two different teams, so it's only a sub sponsor
Yeah.
with Ineos. But
But it just seems weird at this timing that
Well,
they would
Ineos-
want their logo on both teams at one
It is
point
weird.
in time.
well,
It's really
that's
splitting
a
you.
business deal because Ineos deals with plastics and deals with petroleum products, and that's what Total Energy
It's
does.
gas,
is
yeah, it's-
petroleum
yeah.
gas.
Decathlon looks like they've got massive money coming in too. Ajay Dazur is fading out of the sport after 20-some years, and Decathlon is investing heavily in that. I do want to talk about a couple other fringe moments in this first couple days of the tour, with the time we got left before we get to segments. But the intermediate sprint crash scene around the world.
That sucked.
I do want to. I hate
Which
to.
one?
I hate to bash on.
Brian Cocard.
No, on American commentaries. No, I want to talk first about the King of the Mountains sprint.
Oh,
between
that
the,
one.
The
Oh,
Cofidis
So if
and the-
anybody wants to know what happened to Pat, just
Yeah.
Google that little sprint.
Pretty similar, honestly.
yeah, it really was.
They were
Cobble.
they were bouncing around on those cobbles so badly, and I don't want to totally bash our American commentators, but Phil and Bob were talking like it was the most bizarre thing they had ever seen in the world. And I'm screaming at my TV because I was still watching Peacock, forgetting that I had NordVPN
Figured that out too.
Yeah, hey.
as a supplier, and I could watch the other feeds and things like that. But they were talking about, Bob, was that the most amazing thing you've ever seen? We've never seen a crash like that. It's like you got two guys on two smaller teams who are both budgetarily dying. They need to get results or they will be a greeter at fucking Walmart in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And they're both balls out going for those points because one of them could be in the polka dot jersey that night, which would make their team's budget. And Phil's going, I've never seen something like this. What the fuck? So I hate to say it. Phil needs to go out to pasture.
I've said that before.
I know.
1,000
I
times,
feel
and you
horrible saying
always.
it. I feel horrible
You're gonna get
saying
some hate
it, though.
mail.
Oh
I
my
am.
God! Yes,
I
he
am.
does. He's done a great career, but let's not tarnish it with continuing on. Like
Yes.
honestly, Bob's kind of like a little bit better, maybe.
Bob's a
but,
great
like,
color commentator. He's not a great play-by-play commentator.
Exactly. He was great when back in the day it would like check in with him and do that stuff. But we need a new cast.
Rogers should have never gone to the Jets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get it.
Now he's at the Steelers.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh shit. So okay. So I'm glad to know.
Thank
that,
you.
Now it bums me out, but
Wait,
we're
speaking
at that
of
situation.
commentators, and I don't know how you guys feel about time trials. I am so done with time trials.
I don't watch them. I watch the highlights.
Honestly, it's
they're-
actually meditative to me. I just had a plane this
I
morning.
like
when
hearing
was doing
Nico
other
Roach
things.
talk about dinners.
That's what
Yep.
I found that more interesting than a stupid race.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the stupid Giro, which I love Giro, but those TT helmets, they have not produced diddly squat.
No.
Absolutely not.
I said to my wife this morning because she didn't have to go in early, so we had a morning together. I said, "You talk about people looking stupid. Look at that." And it was on Wout, and I was like,
Yeah.
We look bad enough.
Yeah.
Did you guys
they
hear
really did that?
Paul talk about that? Or
Paul's
Phil.
dead.
Wow, that was embarrassing. Did you hear Phil say that is the stupidest looking helmet?
Phil said that?
Yes.
See, I'm
and
not
then-
watching that anymore.
So
I'm
he,
all
yeah,
now.
he said that, and then Bob was like, "Oh, I think because it was like that's a little harsh to say." He's like, "I think it's a very intelligent helmet,
Yeah.
because of the aerodynamic efficiency." I'm like, "Shut up, both of you."
Yeah.
Phil, it
Both
might-
of you shut up.
Hey, we're far into this podcast. Maybe you need a nap.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's just I love what the man he is. He is the voice of cycling from my childhood.
Yes.
But
Thank you for what you've done.
yes, thank you for your service. Exactly. So, okay, I'm going to ask these at the end of every tour show. Although there won't be one next week. Who's your final podium in Paris, Jackson?
Tadej Pogacar wins the Tour de France 2025. Jonas Vingegaard gets second. And I think
This is the one.
third place is a tough one. I think it's going to be Joao Almeida.
Oh, okay. Sam, disagree?
I disagree, but only in the. No, I'm gonna go curveball and I'm gonna Jonas first, Tadej second, and Matteo third. I'm just doing something different.
Crack is a good drug.
It
isn't
is.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul?
Tade, Vindigo, and I'll go with an oddball because I throw it out there. I was going to go with Roglic, but I'm a little bit concerned. I picked him as my leader on the.
You and I are.
I'm at the bottom.
You
No,
and I
I'm-
are shit in
Yeah.
this. In
No,
this
I'm
Tour
the
de France
worst.
competition.
But I just went
Yeah.
through on our little fantasy team.
I
And
do
I-
want to tell you, though, you can give, like, stage winner double points.
Yeah.
So in
which
case
I'm
you wanted
too
to do that.
lazy to do.
But anyways, Paul, as
Wait,
you were
yeah.
saying,
what?
you went through and you're
This is why I'm
saying your
winning.
leader.
My leader was Roglic. I thought there would be something kind of, but his interviews are like, "Hey, I've already won Grand Tours," that type of thing. So
Yeah.
you're not first anyway.
Yeah, somebody,
Somebody-
Rowdy Boys Wrangler
Yeah.
is beating Big D.
Barely now,
I'm-
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm coming up.
You're tied,
You and the first place guy.
Rowdy Boys Wrangler.
Oh, wow, look at that. Yeah.
Both
Wait,
boys is
I don't
Jackson.
even know how
Where's
this
Brendan
is
at?
working. You can assign a winner of the day.
Of
Yes.
each day. And you can trade. So, like, when Phillipson crashed out, I traded him for.
Oh, you're at
Oh
7.
my God.
The first person in our race
How
has
do you trade
3,287.
708.
You have credits. You can only trade. I don't fully understand it.
You
but
can
it was
credit? You can
Yeah.
drop a rider?
You
Yeah.
can, you can trade, yeah.
So
I
you drop a rider for
definitely-
50 credits. I have only 150 credits left, if that's any indication of why I'm where
Why do I
am.
have 500?
I don't know why you have 500, but I had 400
I had
and I spent
200
almost
to
all of them.
start.
Anyway,
sucks.
last crash we want to talk about before we get to segments also is dealing with the Jasper Philipsen crash. If you saw it, you probably have an opinion upon it. If you were a massive person on social media, you might have said something about it. Brian Coquard's team has actually threatened legal action against some of the people who have said such horrific things. Number one, what's your take on the crash? And number two, should these people be liable for hurting Brian Coquard's feelings?
Didn't he get a yellow card?
Yes,
he
he
did
did.
get a yellow card.
So wait, why is there a debate on Coquard's feelings? Who the fuck cares? He got a yellow card for a reason.
If you watch the crash, it was I don't know if I would actually lay blame on Brian Coquard.
But
Absolutely not.
I think
Absolutely not.
I think and
he rubbed
if
shoulders
you
with one
watch-
guy, veered the other way. Philipsen was in that
But
in that
he
area.
made the first move to go to that right side.
Yeah.
If you look at, or if you listen to another podcast, What's Occurring, they talk
What's
about,
occurring? You can plug What's Occurring.
Okay,
I'm
so
absolutely
that's
fine with
it's a great podcast, and Luke
Not the
Rowe
other
was
one.
Don't
talking
plug
about
the one
he
that's on
has,
fucking
that
Peacock.
one doesn't matter and it doesn't exist, and they can go to hell.
Yeah.
I turned off the TV after it in the clinic, and everybody's like, "Why are you turning it off?" And I'm like, "Shut
Nope.
up,
Yeah.
shut up."
We do not speak
Anyway,
his name.
so Luke Rowe was saying he has been in that room where they have the master, official rule stuff, whatever that are decided, because he was kicked out of the tour a few years ago,
Yes, he
and
was.
he's like, we are not gifted all of the camera angles. He's like, when they make that decision, they have more camera angles. He's like, trust it. It's a good decision. And so he talked about that, and he's like, it makes sense.
I disagree 100%, even though you can tell Brian Coquard on his move was to get around and Rex, what's his last name? Anyway, he came.
The guy from Intermarché.
Yeah, Intermarché.
Oh,
The guy's
Lawrence
like 3
Rex.
times his size.
Yeah.
And it's like hitting a wall, and that's all he did is he bounced. He saw a gap. He went to shoot. Because he was coming up from behind, he did not see. And when you're going full cry, you don't look over your right shoulder. You don't. Is anybody coming?
Yeah, we
Or
good?
you point.
Yeah,
I'm going here.
exactly,
You
yeah.
don't do that, and that's why I have a problem with it. And I think it's extremely harsh. And he feels extremely bad, of course.
Man was on the
And-
verge of tears. in
And when you
post-race
have
interviews.
Jasper and the whole team that he's on saying, "Hey, listen, it was a
yeah.
race incident.
Yeah.
There is race. There's not always like that frickin' rock.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. If I would have seen it a little bit earlier and not been chatting, but still, it's like we can't stop everything that happens. I hate that pointing the blame thing. It's just I think we have a tendency to be too.
It was not a malicious
litigious.
move.
It was.
No.
I don't
No
think
idea.
that it was, but I still think that it warrants a yellow card because in the years past, Jasper, who I'm not a huge fan of, has made multiple yellow card moves, and I think that they should have
Yeah,
been
but he
used
does it
back
on
then.
purpose to block. He sticks out an elbow or moves over.
Right, but
That's the difference. The difference of an incident and actually literally trying to create somebody to hit the brakes or
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
completely different.
It's the intent.
Yeah,
you
he
know.
intended himself.
Yeah. Yeah. It was not. There was no intent there. He was sprinting.
yeah.
Yeah. He didn't close the door. He didn't do anything
No.
like that. And that
But I
was-
don't think that it's like intent to hurt somebody. I think the yellow card is just like that was an unsafe move. You bolted.
Yeah.
I think that's
I don't
what
think
they-
it was. I really don't.
Yeah.
Because I've made those moves before without incident.
Yeah.
I would have made that move 100 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens in crits all the time. All the time. I think what it happens is the UCI, because somebody in the green jersey that's, namesake.
Millions of dollars.
We
at
got to
stake.
do something about this.
Yeah.
But
Millions of dollars on the line.
Yeah.
And
Had it been somebody else, some other domestique, I guarantee you they probably would have never gave a yellow
Yeah.
card.
And then Cocard got even more handed to him in the final sprint. You see him flip over the bars?
Yeah.
Into the barrier.
He
was
didn't
bad.
touch anything. He did such a high flip that his lower back landed first when he was going. And I just went, "This
into
guy,"
the
into the barriers, yeah.
so hard.
Oh, my God.
It was a gnarly day.
It was
Yeah.
horrible.
Yesterday was a rough one. Or the day
That
before
was-
that.
yeah.
Third.
Yeah, it's just been, it's the first week of the tour. It's the first week
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
tour. There's so much on the line. There's so much going on. Everybody wants it. Everybody thinks it's within reach. It hasn't become to the point where, oh my God, I'm so far out of reach, I can't get a hold of this. We're just trying to hold on. Now it's just those first week, it's like everything's up for grabs. And if you're a small team like Total Energy who's looking for some glory, you're going to sprint on the cobbles and your back wheel's going to bounce around and some old fart's going to go, "Have you ever seen this before? Where's my milk?" Let's get to our... Oh, it's good. It's a good tour, though. It's a good tour.
It's amazing.
I'm enjoying it. Let's get to our segments for tonight. Thanks to our friends, you guys, listeners of Patreon. Check out on the homepage. I'm putting more stuff up on there regularly, and I think I'm going to start putting some really specials on some Dickies coming up here soon. Only for Patreon members, though.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because I've only got a few of them left. So there we go. Our first segment of the night is Changing Times with Paul Main, and I still love that Paul comes up with his titles for every one. And this is part 3 of a series.
Yeah.
This one's called Hide Your Colors.
So the first segment was knowing your weaknesses, basically. The third one is knowing your opponent. So this is hiding your colors. And so in baseball, when you're facing a pitcher, you can know if you watch them long enough, they'll do a tell, right? They'll start. You can see the way they'll handle the ball, or they kick an elbow out when they're getting ready for a curveball, so you can anticipate stuff. So if you incorporate that, your weaknesses and the other person's strengths and weaknesses, you make sure that if somebody's trying to play against your weakness, anticipate it. Don't show your colors. Don't panic. Don't like, oh my God, here comes a hill and I'm shitty on hills, and jump, because then they've got you. They framed you saying this guy he's panicking, it is all about. It's kind of a game. It's a chess game, basically. It's a great.
Yeah.
That's what road cycling is all about. And so that's the fun part is once you learn about your strengths and weaknesses, and then learning. To me, it's like stages. Then learning the other guys, everybody else's strengths and weaknesses. Then you start incorporating, faking, feinting. Trying to get people to get into a position where their weaknesses are exposed, and that's it. It's a quick little lesson.
Mountain biking is. David, you can agree that there are very moments where you have your, technical abilities, your climbing abilities, your descending abilities.
And eighth graders.
And eighth graders. Yeah, kids who don't drink yet. Only if they do, they steal a little bit out of each bottle from their parents' liquor cabinet and pour it into one murder mix. Not speaking from experience. But I remember times in road races, for example, when I was younger, and this kills me when I see people drinking water when you have clear water bottles. I was told never to have a clear water bottle because in a race, if you're out of water, you still pretend to drink because you don't want people seeing that you're out of water.
That's such a it's interesting.
I've never paid attention to that. I also haven't won many races.
It's interesting you bring it up because I'm thinking of RC3 this year. There was some rather strong folks in a breakaway that ran out of water. They might be triathletes. And I don't know if you guys heard this story. One of them turned to another local rider and asked for water. And he is the nicest guy in all of Spokane. And he said, "It's a race, baby. No way."
Yeah.
And it's funny because you're right. You definitely don't want people to know that. But that is a difference between, I think, racing back then and nowadays. We don't have as much racing experience as you guys did growing up. There aren't as many races, and so you have these incredibly strong individuals not only using clear water bottles but telling their opponent they're out of water and asking for some.
Yeah.
Watch, hold my beer. I'm gonna attack. That's what you say to that guy that wants water.
Yeah, here's some water, and then you attack. Yeah.
So no, it was always about hiding your cards, and
absolutely
revealing with certain moments and things like that. So
that's funny.
That was the game. Sam, you got something for us this week?
Yes.
Fit tips with Bike Fit. Sam from AmbassadorCycling.com. Check it out. Make a schedule. Get an appointment. He's nice, and he will wash his hands after.
Hopefully before.
That is true.
And
before.
Yeah,
my thing for this week was actually because the hot trend, and we've talked on this before, but I'm now actually seeing it in a couple of times with riders that have returned, is the shorter cranks, and especially on a mountain bike. Where center of gravity on the bike is so important, and by lowering it a little bit is very important. They have had issues with not having the control through rock gardens and sharp turns, whatever, because their center of gravity is higher. Because when you shorten those cranks, and they went a centimeter shorter, a centimeter higher is a lot.
Wow.
And so something that, because they really do like the shorter cranks for not clipping rocks and gardens and stuff like that.
I used to ride 180s on my mountain bike.
That's
you hit
crazy.
Everything. You would hit sticks.
Oh, I've smoked so many rocks this year, and I think I have 175s. But how I would combat it if you want to have the shorter cranks, then you're probably just going to need to run a little bit shorter seat height, because you can and you should go up a little bit. If it's a full centimeter, maybe half that and go up 5 millimeters.
Wow.
But I would run a lower seat height and work on that as opposed to.
That sounds so bizarre because you're taking away pedal stroke efficiency.
Yeah, you are, but I'm hoping that you're making up for that in just technical abilities and being able to pedal through some of the rock gardens that you otherwise couldn't pedal through if you had longer crank arms.
Wow. And a lot of mountain bike racing, you're not spending your time planted on the saddle, so hopefully maybe you can float that last half centimeter. You're a little bit off the saddle, so.
But it was just an interesting thing.
Don't those mountain bike guys have those seats that go
dropper
up?
posts?
The dropper
I was going to ask, David, do you have one?
Dropper post?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Do you use it?
Yeah, for sure.
I think I need one.
What?
You don't have one?
I don't have one.
It didn't come with one?
No.
Wow.
Huh?
Yeah.
You do.
I do.
You do.
Before Breck Epic.
You
Oh
do.
my God.
Oh my God, you do.
Honey,
so-
my
mine-
birthday's this weekend.
yeah. Follow-up question. Actually for you, David, do you lower your seat posts, like just micro amounts, like if you're going through rock gardens and stuff? Because that was something I started doing later in the season after following like a local, very high level athlete, just literally like coasting. He was flying through rock gardens because I'd see him like lower it just like a centimeter or two.
And just stay in the saddle and power
And
through.
stay in the saddle, and then he's like floating over it, and then he'd raise it back up when so he was like raising, lowering all the time, and I'm like, weird. I've only ever used it when I like start going down steeper
Uphill,
stuff.
downhill, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty active with both my dropper and my lockout. I mean, I this year I was like, man, maybe I should get one of those electronic brain lockout things because I am constantly locking, unlocking. Every corner you pedal out of, I've got it locked, and then you unlock it immediately when you're up to speed. You go down a slight hill, drop it a little bit. Rock garden, drop it a little bit. So,
Wow.
yeah, I mean, you get
Jesus.
a lot of gains out
It's
of
crazy.
I'm only allowing full suspension when I'm going on descents and stuff like that. The rest of the time, I have some suspension in my front, but very little in my rear.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this year I started using full suspension
We're gonna
all
lose
the
Paul.
time, and it was amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really.
You get a lot better traction through
Yep.
through corners, but at the same time, when you're sprinting out of a corner, standing up, you don't want that going in. Yeah, like locking it out.
Wow,
Yeah.
shit. There's a lot
Anyway,
of-
that was like something I've had a lot of mountain bike.
There's a
trips lately.
lot I need to learn, but in the next 4.5 weeks.
Yeah. Follow him around, David.
Well, you guys are going to be in France.
Oh, oui.
Yeah, it's a good point.
You guys are going to be in France. There's so many other things I could say that would be horribly stereotypical for that culture. But let's finish it off with the cool down with Jackson Bulger. Why isn't it playing? There it was. Come on. There it was. Third time's the charm. Jackson, you always have something cool for us. What do you got this week?
So Matthew Van Der Poel winning yesterday reminded me of when he drove up in a Lamborghini.
And flew a Learjet
Yes.
solo. Yeah, not
Oh.
flew in.
Yeah.
Passenger of.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it made me think about how careful we are with our bikes, but are we very careful with our cars?
Oh shit.
And my question was, are you guys car guys?
Oh.
I have noticed myself lately kind of getting into it a little bit, like just looking and like trying to figure out stuff, because whenever something happens in my car, I'm like, I don't know what that means. I would like to sometimes know how to, jump my car or little things here and there. And then just like learn about it. So if somebody brings it up, I can actually participate in a conversation. But do you guys, one, care about your car very well? And then two, are you into it? Sam?
I take very good care of my cars in the sense of, like staying on top of like them running well, service, all that stuff. I have hit a point in my life that I don't want to do any of that stuff unless it is on my dad's old truck, 56 Ford F100. That's cool to work on. That's the only thing that I'm interested in. I'm not interested in working on a modern day car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
just
mostly
keeping
computers
it
now.
Yeah, exactly. And just keeping it clean and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Paul, what about you? I know you have a bit of a
Is it still too soon?
yeah.
No,
I was gonna
no,
say when I was writing
no.
this, I was like, this might be tough for Paul.
Yeah. No, I've always liked cars, but I don't like. I grew up where muscle cars were always given to the farm boys when they turned 16, and I always liked imports that are a little smaller and faster and quicker.
Hit
Not
fence posts.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, hit fence post. Hold my beer. But I try to keep up. The car that I drive now, since mine got smashed by a tree, is my wife's, and it's hard to keep. I like keeping it clean. I like to keep it. There's some body damage from hit and runs that slowly but surely, when I have cash, we repair. Yeah. But yeah, a clean, well-ran car is important, and I do have a Definity to Volkswagen GTIs in our, cars. But.
And getting into this whole car topic, I was like, people have allegiances to brands.
Yeah, they do.
You know, like there are Toyota. There is a massive Toyota following, and it's pretty like die hard.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep.
They're not very happy
Subaru
with the current
too.
generation.
Yeah.
Yes, Subaru is a big one.
Yeah.
People love those.
Mm-hmm.
David?
It's very important to me that the car runs well. I'm less concerned with my current car. I'm less concerned about the body. I've got rust. I've got dents. I've got a cracked windshield. But my truck is at 300,000 miles easy.
And it's a Toyota.
It's a Toyota 92 pickup. I have done everything on that car, from the lower end to the top end to the valves to the suspension, the driveline, the exhaust. I put an air conditioning. I built an air conditioning system into that car. It did not have air conditioning, and I retrofitted one in with a pump and a compressor and everything, and it works flawlessly. Everything that is supposed to work works. I don't care as much with my current car about the body. If I ever had there's a list of other cars I would love to own that are classic. I like classic cars that I would not want to have body damage on, but on my 92 truck, all that I care about is that the engine, the driveline, the suspension work well, and it does what it needs to do, and mine does. And I do very much enjoy working on cars. I always have. And I probably always will, but I do find myself less and less interested with things like brakes, suspension, freaking oil changes, the stuff that like you do all the time. I got so much joy out of putting an air conditioner in my car, because it was like you can't even find information on that on the internet. I had to completely learn to do that on my own. And so those new challenges are fun to me, but doing the routine maintenance nowadays, not so fun. Yeah.
I've gone through phases at this point in my life. I used to own a Toyota truck.
You did?
A
You owned a
big
Tundra.
ass Tundra truck, 4-door Tundra truck.
That thing is sweet.
It was huge. And I sold it for a Mini Cooper, which I drive to this day.
That's crazy.
I love my Mini Cooper. I love driving a stick. I love manual transmissions. I love the performance. I love the feel. I love the work involved. I love the fact that nobody could steal it, because very few people know how to drive a stick. Before the Toyota, I went through a mini sports car phase where I actually owned a Porsche 914.
Nice.
Which was so much fun to drive. But I remember drinking a cup of coffee and looking out the window at it one day and said, if that thing breaks down,
I can't afford to fix it.
No, it's just I don't know how. It will rust in that fucking driveway if I don't sell this thing. And I realized that I love cars. I love driving cars. I love everything about them. I love, but I don't know how to work on them. And that's just not my thing. I love working on bikes. I love learning how to work on bikes and other different things. But mechanically, it's just not my thing. I'll go as far down the rabbit hole as I can with YouTube videos. I mean, in my RV, I spent this whole last week working on my freaking generator in the RV, working on the fact that I've got dual axles in the back and the interior valves. I can't get air into the tires because something's wrong with the valves, and I'm trying to figure that shit out. But eventually I'll just go drive it to a mechanic and they'll laugh at me, and I'll go, fuck it, I don't care. I've come to a point in my life where there's certain skills that I don't need to learn.
Yes.
And I've accepted that. For example, I don't own a chainsaw. I'm never gonna own a chainsaw. I don't want to learn to use a chainsaw, because worst case scenario, I am a one-armed person with a chainsaw. I don't want to learn those skills, and I don't want to learn how to change my own oil. I don't want to do that shit.
You
called
could.
point and
Like, it's not that.
What?
Point and pay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Make that better.
Yeah, it's not that you couldn't do that. It's just you nailed it. It's just like
It's past my skill set.
not
It's
worth
just a
my
skill set
time.
I'm not ready.
There's
for.
other professionals for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. I've been thinking about within some time looking at new cars. So
My dad told me once after I bought the Mini, my dad told me, he says, it's always pretty cool to own a car that when you're walking away from it in a parking lot, something stops you and you want to look back at it.
that's what I'm thinking.
And it's like, I'll come downstairs at the end of the night, and I'll come downstairs, and if you have your bike all clean, you stop and look at your bike. Yeah, same thing with a car.
Yeah, I don't know. Interesting.
Thanks, Jackson. Those are always so much fun. Gentlemen,
Jackson.
okay, that brings us to the end of our well, we've got one more Tour de France podcast, but we will not be providing a podcast next week. We're going on vacation, and I apologize for that one. Maybe we'll do some content from the campground or stuff like that. If anything pops into your head, if you guys record something, we'll post it or something like that. If something big happens in the tour, we'll go from there. But that takes us to our Final K, and we're going to do this in the time of the Final K segment. Okay, so we have. Should I do the 1:19? I'm going to challenge us. We'll do the 1 minute and 19 seconds. Gentlemen, the Final K, what are your thoughts on special edition kits for the Tour, other than the teams that have to change them because the jerseys match? Jackson.
Like them because I never liked Jumbo's kit in the first place.
Sam.
I think they're awesome. The coolest one was when EF changed it for the Giro.
EF has always done good ones. Paul.
Yeah, I like it. I like the change. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, David.
They've got the time and the resources. They might as well.
Okay, I'm going to go on a limb. I'm not a big fan, especially the candy striper bullshit that Red Bull's got going on right now.
Oh,
Blue
yeah.
shorts
There's
are
hit and misses for sure.
Yeah.
I don't mind the idea.
I spend my whole year getting used to a kit, and then all of a sudden the tour changes, and I can't tell them anymore. It's just, I like things the way they used to be.
Yeah.
Isn't that the most bizarre thing you've ever seen, Bob?
Oh my god.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. Long live the tour, vive la France, and fuck that rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is.
Should I keep it?
You should
Yeah.
keep it.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
It has your tire mark on it.
You survived that rock.
Right there.
Sorry, Steve, man. Heal quick, buddy.
Maybe send Steve that rock.
I should.
That might.
Yeah.
It's like sending
Thanks, Pat.
It's like sending a bullet in the mail.
With the initials.
Yeah.
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 Bullet in the